Joseph this side. So today hand we are starting with a topic called as plant kingdom. Okay, so let's get started. So here the first thing first we'll be dealing that the plant kingdom is again subdivided into two different groups, that is called as cryptogams and phanerogams. Okay, what does that mean? So basically the cryptogams means these are the special plants which are not producing any seed, and phanerogams are the plants which are producing seeds. And there are, again we are dealing with the Thylophyta, Bryophyta and the Pteridophyta. These three different classes are there in the cryptogams, whereas in the gymnosperm and the angiosperm are present in the phanerogams. Okay, deal with. So now starting with the first thing first, it is the Thylophyta. So these are the most primitive ones in the plants kingdom. Thylophyta are the simplest plant which possess the undifferentiated or thallus-like form. Do remember one thing, that a thallus is a plant body in which we are not able to differentiate between the root, the stem and the leaf. Okay, and just like the algae, they are not being able to be differentiated into root, stem and the leaves. Okay, deal with. Their reproductive organs is called as gametangia, and they include only the algae. The characteristic will be thallus, like which may be unicellular or colonial or filamentous or parenchymatous as well. But still, vascular bundles and the mechanical tissues are completely absent in the Thylophyta. Their reproduction is vegetative by fragmentation, asexual by spore formation, and sexual by fusion of the two gametes, which may be isogamous in the Spirogyra or anisogamous in the Chlamydomonas, or oogamous in which the male gamete is motile and the female gamete is non-motile volvox. I repeat, the reproduction pattern for algae, vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation, that one parent body will be detached and the smaller younger one will grow into to be a proper adult, that will be called as fragmentation. Asexual reproduction will be by the formation of the spores, that is called as zoospores in the case of Thylophyta, and the sexual reproduction by the fusion of the male and the female gamete. If both the gametes are same, that is called as isogamous. So this reproduction will be called as this reproduction is isogamous. The example will be Spirogyra. And if both of them are different, that is called as anisogamous. Example is Chlamydomonas. And if the male gamete is motile and the female gamete is non-motile, that is volvox. Now, the life cycle is a various haplontic or diplontic. Haplontic or diplohaplontic, which means their complete life cycle will be under the haplontic, and just before the reproduction they will be forming the diplontic zygotes. Zygote will be diplontic and the complete main proper body will be haplontic, that is a gametophyte. Now the algae is subdivided into chlorophycetes, that is called as green algae, phaeophycetes, that is called as brown algae, and the rhodophycetes, that is called as red algae. Okay, so let's get started. So here in case of the green algae, majority of them they are basically freshwater and subaerial, but the brown algae are mostly marine, same as with the red algae as well, they are mostly marine as well. The special types of the chlorophyll, in the green algae you have chlorophyll A and B, whereas the brown algae you have chlorophyll A and C, and the red algae you have chlorophyll A and D. Okay, that is A and D. Please do remember A and D chlorophyll. Now, the reserved food material in the green algae is starch, whereas the reserved food material in the brown algae is laminarian and mannitol, and the red algae will be Floridian starch. This mannitol is with the brown algae. Okay, deal with. Now, the cell wall is of cellulose in the green algae, whereas the cell wall contains cellulose and algin in the brown algae. Please do remember one thing. Algin is the cell wall component of the brown algae, and whereas the cell wall contains cellulose and polysulfate ester in the red algae. Zoospores are present in the green algae, zoospores are present in the brown algae as well, but they are absent in the red algae. The example for the green algae will be Chlamydomonas, Eulothrix and the Spirogyra, whereas the brown algae contains Fucose, Sargassum, Ectocarpus. The red algae contains Polysiphonia, Gelidium and the Porphyra. Gelidium is the one which gives, Gelidium and the Gracilaria are the types of the red algae which gives agar, which is a solidifying agent. Okay, deal with. Now what is the economic importance of these? So the number of the brown algae, that is called the laminarian and the sargassum, they are used as food in some countries. Fungus and laminaria are rich source of iodine as well. Do remember one thing, that the laminaria has rich source of iodine. Laminaria and ascophyllum have antibiotic properties as well, and the alginic acid is obtained from the fungus, brown algae, from the fungus and liverworts that grows in the moist shady region. Do remember one thing, that the algin is present in the brown algae. Now dealing with the second one called as the bryophytes. So here, this is the second division. Bryophytes, they are non-vascular mosses and liverworts that grow in moist, shady region. They are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom because they are showing us the dual life. That is the reason that the bryophytes are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom, because the plants live on soil but depend on water for the fertilization, or rather I'll be calling it as the sexual reproduction. The sexual reproduction. So again, do remember one thing, that the bryophytes also do not have any xylem or phloem. They don't have xylem and the phloem, which means they lack the vascular bundles. Now, their characteristic features are the roots are absent, but they contain root-like structure that is called as rhizoid. Their vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation or tuber formation or gemmy formation, that is also called as gemmules as well, buds formation as well. Their sexual organs are multicellular and they are jacketed. Antheridium, the male part, and the archegonium, the female part. They are producing the antherozoid and the egg or oospores respectively. The sporophyte is parasite on the gametophyte. Do remember one case, that the sporophyte is diploid whereas the gametophyte is haploid. But in case of the thylophyte and the bryophyta, sporophyte is dependent on the gametophyte. Unlike like the pteridophyte or the gymnosperm and the angiosperm. Bryophyte are again further divided as the Hepaticopsidae and Bryopsidae, that is called as liverworts and the mosses. So dealing with the first thing called as liverworts. So here the thallus is dorsiventrally flattened, which means like the upside down. The thallus is dorsiventrally flattened, dichotomously branched, with or without leaf-like appendages. There are unicellular rhizoids specifically, multicellular scales, and completely parasitic sporophyte or sporangium, which means the sporophyte is directly dependent on the gametophyte. Asexual reproduction by the fragmentation of thallus or formation of the specialized structure called as gemmy. Okay, gemmy are multicellular asexual buds which develop into small receptacles called as gemmy cups, and these gemmy become detached from the parent body and germinate to form a new individual. And during sexual reproduction, the male and the female sex organs are produced on the same thallus or different. The sporophyte is differentiated into foot, seta, and the capsule. Okay, deal with. Now, dealing with the second one, that is called as mosses or the proper bryophytes I'll be calling. The gametophyte and the mosses contains two stages. The first stage is called as the protonemal stage, whereas the second stage is called as a leafy stage. Okay. So the vegetative reproduction by the fragmentation and budding in the secondary protonema. So in the primary protonema it will be fragmentation and budding in the secondary protonema. Okay. So the first stage protonema is again further divided into primary protonemal stage and the secondary protonemal stage. Okay. And a sex organ develops on the leafy shoot. So leafy stage is responsible for the sexual reproduction, whereas the protonemal stage is responsible for the asexual reproduction. And in that you will be having vegetative reproduction as well and the asexual reproduction as well. Now dealing with the pteridophytes, so they are basically seedless vascular plants which we can call the first true land plants. Okay, they are seedless vascular plants that have sporophytic plant body and inconspicuous gametophyte, which means negligible gametophyte. Here the gametophyte is dependent on the sporophyte, and beforehand we had the cases that the sporophyte was dependent on the gametophyte. Okay. Their vascular tissues are present, but vessels are absent from xylem and companion cells, and the sieve tube and elements are present in the phloem. In especially some plants of the pteridophyte, that is called as Selaginella, the compact structures are present, that is called as the strobili or cones. Okay, for the reproduction purpose. Sporangia becomes spores by meiosis in spore mother cell, and the spores will be germinate to produce the multicellular thyroid, which we call as the prothallus. Okay, spores will be germinating to produce the multicellular thyroid, which we will be calling as the prothallus. So here the gametophyte is bearing the male and the female sex organs, which will be called as antheridia and the archegonia respectively. And do remember one case, again they are just like the bryophytes. Water is essential for the fertilization of the male, for the fusion of the male and the female gametes. I repeat, water is required for the fusion of the male and the female gamete. Deal with. Now, most of the pteridophytes are producing spores which are of similar kind, that is called as homosporous, but be it is Selaginella or Salvinia. But spores of two kinds, that is called as the heterosporous, which we call as a megaspore is the female gametophyte, and the microspore in the male gametophyte. Okay, deal with. So in case of the Selaginella and the Salvinia, they are dealing with the anisogamous. Okay, heterosporous. Now, pteridophyte classes, we have Coelopsida, in which the example is Coelotum, Lycopsida, which we can call as a Lycopodium, and the Selaginella, Sphenopsida, in which we are dealing with the Equisetum, and the Filicopsida, in which the example Pteris and Adiantum are present. Okay, I repeat, Coelopsida, Coelotum, Lycopsida, Lycopodium, Selaginella, Sphenopsida, Equisetum, Filicopsida, Pteris, and the Adiantum. Deal with. Now dealing with the gymnosperm. So gymnosperms are the plant in which the ovules are not enclosed. Gymnosperm are the plant in which the ovules are not enclosed inside the ovary wall, and they remain exposed before and after fertilization, which means the seeds are not enclosed in the fruit. Okay, their stem may be unbranched in case of the cycas, or they may be branched in case of the pinus as well. These two are the best examples of the gymnosperm. They have the taproot system, which will be something like this, like the taproot system, in which like we will be having like the hairs in this fashion, and their leaves may be simple or may be compound as well. They are heterosporous, which means like the male and the female. Microspore will be different. They will be producing microspore and the megaspore in the male and the female strobili respectively. Okay, example is the pines, cycas, cedrus, and the ginkgo biloba, the living fossil. Now dealing with the last class of the plant kingdom, that is called as angiosperm. Okay, angiosperm. So here what happens, that the pollen grain and the ovules are developed in the specialized structure. In case of the angiosperm, or what we call as the flowering plants, we will be dealing in detail in the reproduction in the flowering plant chapter. The flower seed includes enclosed inside the fruit, and basically the seeds are always enclosed in the fruit, and their size varies drastically somehow. Like the Wolffia is 0.1 centimeter sized to the tree which is having more than 100 meter height. Angiosperm are again divided into two different classes, that is called the dicot and the monocot, and we are dealing with them here. So in case of the monocotyledons, we have only one single cotyledon, whereas the dicotyledon have two cots. Okay, and in case of the leaf, like if I am drawing a leaf here, like see something, this is a leaf for me. So if they are like in this fashion, that is the parallel venation, and if they are like in this fashion, that will be called as the reticulate venation. Okay, now monocotyledon have a fibrous root system, something like this, and the dicot have taproot system, something like this. Okay, deal with. They have closed vascular bundle, and the dicotyledon have open vascular bundle. The difference between the closed and the vascular bundle and the open vascular bundle will be like this is xylem and this is phloem for the monocot, whereas this is xylem, this is cambium, and this is phloem for the dicot. That is the reason that the open and the closed vascular bundle. In case of the monocotyledon, we are observing that the more number of the vascular bundles are present, whereas in the dicot there are less number of the vascular bundles are present. Examples will be banana, wheat, and rice, whereas here in the dicot we have gram, mango, and the apple. Now, what does this double fertilization means? Basically, we will be dealing in detail in the double fertilization in the reproduction in the flowering plant chapter, but still, for the time being, each pollen grain produces two male gametes. Okay, one gamete is fusing with the egg to form the embryo, whereas the other gamete is fusing with the polar nuclei to form the endosperm. We call it as double fertilization as well, and we can call it as triple fusion as well, because fertilization is taking place twice. So this is the reason we are calling it as double fertilization. Okay, deal with. Now the last topic of the chapter. Here, alternation of generation. So basically, different plant group complete their life cycle in different pattern. Like the angiosperm complete their life cycle in two phases, that is called as diploid sporophyte and haploid gametophyte. These two are following each other, which means like the sporophyte to gametophyte, gametophyte to sporophyte, sporophyte to again gametophyte. And this phenomena is called as alternation of generation. So here we have three different types of alternation of generation, that is called as haplontic, diplohaplontic, and diplontic. So the first one will be called as haplontic. Here the sporophytic generation is only by one celled stage, that is called as zygote, and the complete life cycle will be under haploid style. Meiosis in the zygote, like the zygote undergoes, in normal conditions zygote undergoes mitotic division, But here the meiosis in zygote is resulting into haploid spore to form the gametophytes, okay, which is the dominant vegetative phase. The example is volvox, Spirogyra, etc. In case of the diplontic as well, diploid sporophyte is dominant. What happened in the haploid gametophyte was dominant, whereas in diplontic it is the sporophyte is dominant. So independent photosynthetic plant, the gametophyte is represented by a single few celled stage. All seed bearing plants fall under this category. And in case of the haplodiplontic, both phases are multicellular and intermediate condition is present. This is presented by the bryophyte and the pteridophyte. So again, I am just giving you direct conclusion that in case of the haplontic, you have only thallophyta. Okay. In case of the haplodiplontic, you have bryophyte and pteridophyte. Okay. You have bryophyte and the pteridophyte. And in case of the diplontic, you have all seed bearing plants, which means the gymnosperm and the angiosperm. Again, haplontic, thallophyta, haplodiplontic, bryophyta, pteridophyta, and diplontic, gymnosperm and the angiosperm. Done? Okay. So this was all about the plant kingdom chapter in one single shot. Hopefully this lecture has been beneficial for you guys. If you do have any questions, you can ask me there in the comment sections as well. Thank you. Thank you very much.